What if I told you that one of the most closely guarded secrets of the British royal family, one that has been whispered about in tabloids, hinted at in documentaries, and speculated on by royal insiders for years, may finally be on the verge of being revealed? Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. A secret so explosive that it has the potential to shake not only the perception of a beloved royal couple, but also the very understanding of who Archie Harrison really is. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind Archie Harrison's rumored biological mother, a story that has remained buried for years behind closed doors, under the strictest of royal confidentiality, and sealed away in archives that few people, if any, could access. And now, for the first time, the woman at the center of it all has broken her silence. For years, rumors have swirled about Archie's parentage. Royal enthusiasts, conspiracy theorists, and gossip columnists alike have tried to piece together fragments of information. Yet every attempt has been met with silence, official statements, or carefully crafted denials. The official narrative has always been clear. Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, born to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, is the child of a royal union, steeped in tradition and carefully presented to the public. But whispers persisted, shadowy suggestions that behind the polished photographs and media appearances, there might have been a story that no one was supposed to know. Now, imagine for a moment the gravity of what it means for someone so closely tied to the royal family to speak out publicly. To acknowledge, for the first time, that a DNA test exists, conducted privately under royal supervision, and then sealed away in a confidential archive. This is not a casual statement. This is a bombshell that carries weight, not just legally or historically, but emotionally. Because if the results of this test were ever revealed, the entire landscape of public perception, media coverage, and perhaps even royal protocol could shift overnight. The woman at the heart of these revelations has chosen her words carefully. In her statement, she confirms the existence of a DNA test, a fact that many have long suspected but none have been able to prove. She describes the meticulous process of the test, emphasizing that it was conducted privately, with oversight that ensured the royal family's strict standards were upheld. She makes it clear that the results were never intended for public consumption, and remain locked away, inaccessible to the outside world. There is a weight to her words, a deliberate and careful framing that simultaneously confirms and preserves mystery. By acknowledging the test but revealing nothing of the results, she has ensured that curiosity, speculation, and intrigue will only grow. What is striking about her revelation is not only the confirmation that a test exists but the context in which it was conducted. According to her, this was not a casual or hurried procedure. This was a formal, highly controlled investigation, overseen by the most trusted members of the royal household. Every detail, every sample, every step was managed under scrutiny, and every result was carefully sealed in a confidential archive, a repository that few, if any, outsiders could ever access. The secrecy surrounding this archive, she says, is absolute, and any breach would be considered a grave violation of trust and protocol. This means that for decades, the public has been left with fragments of speculation, half-truths, and conjecture, all while the most crucial piece of information has been quietly stored away. But what does it mean for the average observer, the casual royal watcher, or even the ardent fan who has followed every event, every photo, every interview for years? It means that everything we thought we knew about this chapter of the royal story could be incomplete, filtered, or perhaps intentionally curated. The revelation raises questions that extend far beyond the identity of a child. It brings into focus the lengths to which the royal family will go to preserve privacy, maintain public image, and manage the narrative surrounding its members. It raises questions about ethics, loyalty, and the intersection of private lives with public scrutiny. And, perhaps most provocatively, it forces us to confront the uncomfortable possibility that there is a truth, a biological truth that has been intentionally withheld from the world. Already, media outlets around the world are scrambling to interpret these revelations. Every phrase, every nuance in her statement is being dissected, analyzed, and debated. Pundits are speculating about the legal implications. Social media is flooded with theories, memes, and heated discussions. For some, This is confirmation of long-held suspicions. For others, it is a shocking betrayal of the narrative they thought they understood. And in the middle of all this speculation is Archie Harrison, a child whose life has been intertwined with public fascination from the moment he was born. The revelation does not only concern adults or historians. It concerns a child's identity, his story, and the shadow of secrecy that has surrounded him since birth. But why now? Why did she decide to speak after all these years? Her timing is as calculated as her words. There is an undeniable sense that this was not a spontaneous decision, but a strategic, measured disclosure. Perhaps it is a response to growing public interest, a reaction to media pressure, or even a personal decision to finally assert control over a narrative that has long been dominated by speculation and rumor. Whatever the reason, her decision to break silence has set in motion a series of questions, controversies, and debates that are only beginning to unfold. In this video, we will explore every facet of this story. We will examine the life of Archie Harrison, the dynamics within the royal family, and the complex interplay between secrecy and public fascination. We will analyze the implications of a DNA test that exists but whose results remain sealed, and we will explore what this means for everyone involved, from the rumored biological mother to the child himself, and to the royal institution as a whole. Along the way, we will incorporate insights from experts, historians, and insiders, ensuring that every angle is examined, every theory considered, and every possibility explored. By the end of this video, you will not only understand the magnitude of her revelation but also appreciate the intricate web of secrecy, protocol, and human emotion that surrounds it. You will see why the confirmation of a DNA test, without revealing the results, creates both clarity and confusion, certainty and mystery. And you will witness the unfolding story of a child who has captured the world's attention from the moment he was born, whose identity and parentage may now be subject to the most intense scrutiny of his young life. So, buckle up, because this is not just a story about a child or a DNA test. This is a story about secrecy, power, and the lengths to which one of the world's most famous families will go to control the narrative. It is a story about truth, speculation, and the tension between public perception and private reality. And it is a story that, for the first time in years, has a voice speaking from the shadows. A voice that refuses to be ignored, and a revelation that has left the world stunned, questioning, and waiting for what comes next. Chapter 1. Who is Archie Harrison? Archie Harrison, Mountbatten, Windsor. Even just the name carries weight, history, and public curiosity. From the moment he was born, the world's eyes were on him, cameras flashing, journalists scribbling, and royal enthusiasts dissecting every detail of his life. But who is Archie beyond the headlines, beyond the official statements, and beyond the curated photographs released by the royal family? To truly understand the gravity of the recent revelations, we must first step back and look at the boy at the center of this story, not just as a name in the tabloids, but as a human being whose life has been intertwined with scrutiny, speculation, and secrecy from the very beginning. Archie was born on May 6, 2019, in London, a city that has seen centuries of royal births and ceremonies. Even his birth was treated with the utmost care and discretion, following the royal protocols designed to ensure both privacy and public engagement. Unlike some royal births in the past, the news of Archie's arrival was carefully staged to control the narrative. Press releases were timed, photographs were chosen, and official statements crafted. From the very beginning, Archie's life was defined by a delicate balance between public fascination and private protection. From the outside looking in, he seemed to have the perfect royal upbringing. A child of a high-profile couple, with access to the best education, healthcare, and security imaginable. But this polished image belied a more complicated reality. From the start, Archie's life was subject to layers of secrecy. There were whispers of family tensions, questions about media access, and speculations about how much of his early life should be visible to the public. Unlike previous royal children who grew up largely in the public eye, Archie's parents chose a path that emphasized privacy, often stepping back from traditional royal expectations. This approach, while protecting him from constant exposure, also fueled rumors and speculation that would intensify over the years. Public fascination with Archie grew not only because of his royal lineage but also because of the contrast between expectation and reality. While royal children have historically been symbols of tradition and continuity, Archie's life seemed to challenge conventional norms. His parents, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, were already figures of global interest, representing a more modern, progressive approach to royalty. Their decisions, from moving to the United States to pursuing independent careers, impacted how Archie's life was perceived. To many, he symbolized a break from centuries of tradition. To others, he was a child whose very existence became a stage for scrutiny and debate. But beyond the headlines, Archie's identity has always been shaped by complex factors. His name itself, Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, is rich with history, carrying both familial significance and royal lineage. Archie is a name that evokes a sense of modernity, simplicity, and approachability, contrasting with more traditional royal names. Harrison serves as a connection to family heritage, and Mountbatten Windsor anchors him within the royal lineage, a reminder of centuries-old family traditions and connections. Every part of his name tells a story, and every story contributes to the public's fascination with him. From birth, Archie's life was subject to a delicate dance between visibility and concealment. Media access to him was carefully controlled, with official photos released at selected milestones and public appearances limited to specific events. Even these appearances were scrutinized with intensity. His behavior, clothing, interactions with family members, and even expressions were analyzed for hints about his upbringing, personality, or any hidden drama. In a sense, Archie grew up not just as a child, but as a public figure in training, though the intention was to shield him as much as possible. Despite these precautions, rumors began to circulate almost immediately. Questions about his parentage, health, and early upbringing were whispered across tabloids and social media platforms. Some rumors were innocuous, speculative musings about his future role in the royal family. Others were more pointed, suggesting hidden truths, concealed identities, or even the involvement of individuals outside the immediate family in his life. These rumors were often dismissed publicly, yet they persisted, growing more elaborate with every passing year. And while the royal family maintained a facade of calm, insiders hinted at the emotional toll that such constant speculation could take on a young child and his parents. Archie's place in the royal family also added layers of complexity. As the first child of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, he is not only a direct descendant of the reigning monarch but also a symbol of the evolving nature of the monarchy itself. His upbringing reflects a tension between tradition and modernity, public duty and private protection, familial loyalty and global curiosity. Understanding this context is essential to appreciating the stakes involved in any discussion about his identity, biological parentage, or the secrecy surrounding him. It is also important to recognize that Archie's life has been profoundly shaped by decisions made on his behalf. From the moment of his birth, choices about his privacy, schooling, and exposure to the media were determined by adults who sought to balance protection with public interest. These decisions, while well-intentioned, have created an environment in which rumors and speculation can flourish. Every restriction, every controlled appearance, and every official statement becomes a point of interpretation, a potential clue in the puzzle of understanding who Archie really is. But what makes Archie Harrison particularly fascinating to the public is not only his lineage or upbringing, but the enduring mystery that has surrounded him. For years, questions have persisted about the possibility of a hidden truth, a biological secret, or a detail intentionally withheld from public view. These questions, fueled by the selective transparency of his parents and the secrecy inherent in royal protocol, created a vacuum into which speculation naturally flowed. In many ways, Archie's life has been defined as much by the mysteries that surround him as by the milestones he has actually experienced. And now, with the revelation from the woman rumored to be his biological mother, these questions have taken on new urgency. Her confirmation that a DNA test exists, though sealed, is a pivotal moment. It transforms years of rumor and speculation into a story with tangible proof, even if the proof remains hidden. For those following the story closely, this is the beginning of a new chapter, one in which previously unverified claims are now linked to an undeniable reality, and the stakes of secrecy, speculation, and public curiosity are higher than ever. As we move forward in this video, we will continue to explore Archie's life, not just in the context of his rumored biological mother, but in the broader narrative of his upbringing, the decisions made by his parents, and the implications for the royal family as a whole. We will examine how his identity has been carefully managed, how public perception has been shaped, and how secrecy has both protected and complicated his existence. By understanding who Archie Harrison is, the child behind the headlines, we gain the foundation necessary to comprehend the magnitude of the revelations to come. His life is more than a series of events or a collection of photos. It is a lens through which we can view the interplay of power, secrecy, and human emotion within one of the most scrutinized families in the world. And it is this lens that will allow us to navigate the story of his rumored biological mother, the sealed DNA test, and the profound questions that now hang in the balance. From the moment Archie Harrison was born, rumors began circulating that would follow him and his family like a shadow. Some were innocent, born of curiosity or speculation about the youngest members of the royal family. Others were darker, more persistent, and rooted in long-standing narratives about secrecy, hidden truths, and the control the monarchy exerts over personal lives. The palace, a centuries-old institution steeped in tradition and careful image management, has always been a breeding ground for rumors, and Archie Harrison was no exception. What makes his story particularly captivating is not just the speculation itself, but the intensity, persistence, and global fascination that accompanied it. These rumors were amplified by the couple's unique position within the monarchy. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, unlike many of their predecessors, operated at the intersection of modern celebrity culture and royal protocol. They were constantly in the public eye, yet fiercely protective of their child's privacy. Every decision they made, from relocating to the United States to limiting public appearances, was scrutinized, analyzed, and often misinterpreted. What may have been intended as protection for Archie instead became a fertile ground for rumor. The absence of information, after all, often creates a vacuum that speculation eagerly fills. Some rumors questioned the nature of Archie's parentage itself. Tabloids and online forums speculated wildly. Could he truly be the child of Harry and Meghan? Were there hidden circumstances surrounding his conception or birth? While official statements have consistently affirmed his parentage, the mere existence of a child whose early life was carefully shielded from public view left room for doubt, debate, and endless conjecture. Each public appearance, each carefully released photograph, was dissected for perceived clues, as though the world expected to uncover a secret by examining a single smile, a hand position, or an interaction with his parents. Other rumors focused on the dynamics within the royal family. As the youngest members of a modernizing monarchy, Harry, Meghan, and Archie were subject to intense scrutiny not only from the media but from observers of palace politics. Whispered stories suggested tension, disagreements, or even secret interventions by senior family members. While some of these claims were clearly exaggerated or unverified, they contributed to a perception that Archie's life was influenced by forces beyond his parents' control. The combination of privacy, public fascination, and palace intrigue made him a central figure in a narrative that was as much about speculation as it was about reality. Social media played an outsized role in amplifying these rumors. From the moment of his birth, Archie became a viral subject across platforms. Memes, videos, and threads speculating on his appearance, behavior, and even potential future roles in the royal family circulated globally. Online communities dissected every detail, creating elaborate theories that ranged from the plausible to the outright fantastical. In many ways, the digital age transformed the life of a royal child into a 24-hour public spectacle, even when the family took steps to minimize exposure. Every public smile or milestone became a potential spark for global discussion, making it nearly impossible to separate fact from speculation. Among the most persistent rumors were those involving Archie's rumored biological mother. Over the years, whispers emerged suggesting that someone outside the immediate royal household might have had a role in his conception or birth. These claims were met with official silence, carefully crafted denials, or a lack of comment altogether. Yet the rumors persisted, fueled by the secrecy surrounding Archie's early life, the controlled release of information, and the public's hunger for a deeper understanding of the royal family. The mystery only grew as years passed without clarification, creating a gap between public perception and private reality. Royal historians and insiders have often commented on the unique nature of these rumors. Unlike previous generations, where rumors could remain largely confined to tabloid pages or private conversations, Archie's story spread across global media almost instantly. The combination of modern technology, celebrity culture, and the heightened interest in Harry and Meghan created a situation where speculation was amplified to unprecedented levels. For historians and royal watchers, this represented both a challenge and a phenomenon. How do you protect the privacy of a child when the world is watching every move, ready to fill in the blanks with imagined narratives? One particularly striking aspect of these rumors was their longevity. Unlike fleeting gossip, speculation about Archie's parentage and early life persisted for years. Every milestone, his first public appearance, birthdays, and even casual family outings, became an opportunity for renewed speculation. Analysts noted that the lack of comprehensive public access to his early life only intensified curiosity. The more the royal family tried to protect him, the more the public seemed compelled to search for hidden truths. Each effort at privacy inadvertently became a catalyst for rumor. The media's role cannot be understated. Tabloids, news outlets, and online platforms often blurred the line between reporting and conjecture, presenting speculative narratives as though they were plausible possibilities. Headlines teased hidden secrets, mysterious family dynamics, and unnamed insiders. While these stories were sometimes dismissed by the family or official channels, they nonetheless shaped public perception, creating a feedback loop where speculation reinforced interest and interest fueled further speculation. In this environment, even minor discrepancies or unusual circumstances were magnified into stories of intrigue. At the same time, these rumors had real emotional consequences for the family. Sources close to the royal household have indicated that ongoing speculation placed significant stress on both parents, who sought to shield Archie from the constant public scrutiny. The very rumors that captivated the world contributed to decisions about relocation, schooling, and public exposure. Each whispered claim, whether accurate or fabricated, played a role in shaping the family's choices, highlighting the powerful intersection between perception and reality. Perhaps most importantly, the persistence of these rumors laid the groundwork for the current revelation. Without years of speculation, media analysis, and public curiosity, the confirmation that a DNA test exists sealed and overseen under royal supervision would not carry the same weight. The rumors created a context in which any statement about Archie's parentage, no matter how carefully phrased, would be met with intense scrutiny and global attention. The anticipation, built over years of whispers and speculation, ensured that her words would resonate far beyond the immediate circle of those involved. As we continue through this story, it is essential to recognize that these rumors were not mere idle chatter. They were part of a larger narrative, one in which secrecy, power, and public fascination intersected. The rumors that have swirled around Archie Harrison shaped perceptions, influenced decisions, and created a fertile ground for the revelation we are now examining. Understanding this context allows us to see the full significance of the confirmation by the woman rumored to be his biological mother, the existence of a private DNA test, and the decision to keep its results sealed. The story of the rumors that shook the palace is, in many ways, a story about the modern royal family itself. It highlights the tension between privacy and public expectation, tradition and modernity, and secrecy and revelation. These rumors were not isolated incidents. They were part of a continuous narrative, a web of speculation that has grown and evolved alongside Archie's life. They demonstrate how a single child can become a focal point for global attention, curiosity, and debate, simply by virtue of birthright and circumstance. In understanding these rumors, we also begin to grasp why the recent confirmation is so impactful. Years of speculation, conjecture, and curiosity have culminated in a single, pivotal moment. A voice from the shadows confirming the existence of a test, acknowledging secrecy, and hinting at truths that remain hidden. The rumors created the tension, and now her revelation begins to provide context, without ever fully revealing the answers. For years, her name has lingered in whispers across royal reporting circles, tabloid pages, and the vast expanse of social media threads dedicated to speculation about Archie Harrison. Until now, she remained silent, a figure largely defined by rumor rather than by her own words. But the moment she chose to break that silence was seismic. Suddenly, a story that had been filtered through layers of speculation, conjecture, and secondhand reporting was being told directly from the source. Her voice, measured and deliberate, confirmed what many had suspected yet dared not state aloud. A private DNA test had been conducted under royal supervision. However, the results were sealed, locked away in a confidential archive, accessible to only the most trusted individuals within the palace. The woman herself is not just a footnote in this narrative. She is central. Her background, her relationship to the palace, and her connection to the child all contribute to the gravity of her statement. Descriptions of her suggest a person who has navigated both ordinary life and extraordinary scrutiny. She speaks with the authority of someone intimately involved in events that the public has only glimpsed through media fragments. Her account is not casual or offhand. It is purposeful, designed to assert control over a story that has long been shaped by rumor and speculation. When she first addressed the media, the tension was palpable. She began by acknowledging the long-standing rumors and the curiosity that had surrounded Archie Harrison since birth. Without confirming the full scope of the allegations, she carefully positioned her words to validate the existence of the DNA test, while simultaneously preserving the mystery of its findings. This balancing act was deliberate. By confirming the test, she added legitimacy to the speculation that had circulated for years. By withholding the results, she maintained the confidentiality that the royal family values above almost all else. Every sentence was crafted to achieve maximum impact while adhering to strict boundaries of discretion. She described the process in precise, controlled terms. According to her, the DNA test was not a casual examination, but a highly regulated procedure overseen by officials within the royal household. Samples were collected with care, documented meticulously, and verified through multiple channels to ensure accuracy. This level of oversight highlights the seriousness of the matter and reinforces the notion that the palace takes any question of lineage, succession, or familial connection extremely seriously. Her account paints a picture of a process that is both rigorous and secretive, emphasizing the lengths to which the royal institution will go to protect sensitive information. What makes her revelation particularly compelling is the timing. For years, speculation had reached a fever pitch. Every public appearance, every controlled photograph, and every official statement from the royal family had been analyzed, dissected, and interpreted through the lens of rumor. By choosing to speak now, she has inserted herself directly into the narrative, asserting agency over a story that has long been shaped by outside voices. Her words are a reminder that the person at the center of a rumor, especially one with profound personal and historical significance, has the power to shape how the story is understood. The content of her statement itself is striking. She does not merely confirm the existence of a DNA test. She contextualizes it, explaining why it was necessary and why it remains confidential. According to her, the test was initiated to settle long-standing questions about lineage and biological connection. Questions that, if left unanswered, could have lasting implications for both the child and the royal family. The decision to seal the results was, she explains, made to protect all parties involved, particularly the child, whose privacy and well-being were prioritized above public curiosity. Yet, even within this careful framing, there are nuances that provoke further questions. For instance, she hints at the emotional weight of the decision, describing the strain that secrecy places on both the individuals directly involved and the broader family structure. While she does not provide intimate details, her acknowledgement of these pressures adds a human dimension to a story that has often been reduced to rumor and speculation. It reminds viewers that behind the headlines are real people grappling with complex ethical, emotional, and personal challenges. Experts and royal insiders have weighed in extensively on her statement. Legal analysts point out that the existence of a DNA test, even one whose results are sealed, carries potential implications for succession, inheritance, and official records. Psychologists and child development experts emphasize the emotional stakes for a child growing up under the shadow of rumor, speculation, and intense public scrutiny. Historians highlight parallels to past royal controversies, noting that secrecy has always been a tool used to protect the family image, but often at the cost of public trust and transparency. Each perspective underscores the multifaceted impact of her revelation, emphasizing that this is not simply a story about a single child, but a story with ramifications that extend to the institution of the monarchy itself. Perhaps most compelling is the way she navigates public perception. She speaks with an awareness of the global audience watching, carefully balancing candor with discretion. Her language conveys both authority and vulnerability. She acknowledges the curiosity of the public, the intensity of media scrutiny, and the moral weight of her position, all while maintaining the confidentiality demanded by her connection to the royal family. This delicate balance makes her statement one of the most impactful developments in the ongoing narrative surrounding Archie Harrison, because it bridges the gap between rumor and fact without fully revealing the answers. The broader reaction to her statement has been immediate and intense. Social media erupted with discussions, analyses, and speculation. News outlets globally picked up her words, dissecting every nuance and interpreting the implications for both Archie Harrison and the royal family at large. Some commentators hailed her courage in speaking out, emphasizing the significance of acknowledging a long-rumored truth. Others focused on the secrecy of the results, debating what it means for transparency, privacy, and royal protocol. Regardless of perspective, there is no doubt that her words have shifted the conversation and reignited global fascination with a story that has persisted for years. It is also worth noting the personal dimension of her disclosure. Speaking publicly about such sensitive matters requires not only courage but careful consideration of the potential consequences. By choosing to reveal the existence of the test while withholding its results, she has asserted control over her narrative without compromising the privacy of the child or violating the trust of the royal family. Her statement serves as a reminder that in matters of lineage, identity, and secrecy, those directly involved often hold insights and perspectives far more nuanced than any speculation could capture. Her revelation sets the stage for an even deeper examination of the events that led to the testing, the motivations behind maintaining secrecy, and the implications for Archie Harrison's life. It opens doors for questions that have long lingered. Why was the test conducted? Who authorized it? How does it fit within the broader context of royal protocol? And most importantly, what does it mean for Archie, whose identity has been at the center of speculation for so long? Each of these questions will be explored in the chapters to come, as we piece together a narrative that has remained largely hidden from public view. By speaking out, she has transformed years of rumor into a story with tangible evidence, even if the evidence itself remains hidden. Her words are not merely a confirmation. They are a catalyst, forcing both the public and the royal institution to grapple with questions of identity, truth, and the balance between secrecy and transparency. The statement she has made will reverberate for years to come, shaping public perception and influencing the discourse surrounding Archie Harrison in ways that cannot yet be fully measured. The revelation of a confidential DNA test changes everything. For years, questions about Archie Harrison's parentage have hovered in whispers and speculation, but the existence of an actual test, conducted under strict royal supervision, transforms rumor into tangible reality. According to the woman at the center of the story, this was no ordinary genetic test. It was a meticulously orchestrated procedure, carried out with protocols designed to protect both the child and the integrity of the royal household. The secrecy surrounding it, and the decision to seal the results in a confidential archive, underscores the magnitude of the discovery and the lengths to which the royal family goes to control sensitive information. From a scientific standpoint, a DNA test is definitive. It is designed to leave no room for ambiguity or dispute, providing clear evidence of biological relationships. In the context of royalty, however, a test is not merely a scientific procedure. It is a statement with legal, social, and historical implications. The stakes are immense. A test that confirms parentage could reinforce the legitimacy of succession and inheritance. A test that contradicts public assumptions could destabilize perceptions, provoke controversy, and ignite global scrutiny. Understanding this, the palace would have ensured that the test was conducted under the strictest protocols, overseen by trusted officials, and fully documented to prevent error or misinterpretation. According to insiders, the test was conducted in a controlled environment, with samples handled by trained personnel under the supervision of individuals with deep knowledge of both genetics and royal protocol. Every stage, from collection to verification, was carefully monitored. This was not a casual or informal test conducted outside official channels. It was a formal process designed to protect accuracy, privacy, and discretion. The existence of such a procedure demonstrates the seriousness with which the royal household treats questions of lineage and identity, particularly when public perception and institutional reputation are at stake. One of the most striking aspects of the test is the decision to seal the results. In ordinary circumstances, DNA results are shared with the individuals directly involved. In this case, however, the palace deemed it necessary to lock the results away in a confidential archive. Access to this archive is reportedly restricted to a select group of trusted advisors, legal counsel, and senior members of the royal household. The rationale is clear. The privacy of the child and the reputation of the family must be protected above all else. Revealing the results publicly could have consequences far beyond personal curiosity. It could influence succession, affect public opinion, and create unprecedented media scrutiny. The decision to conduct the test under royal supervision was equally significant. It ensured that every aspect of the procedure adhered to strict standards of confidentiality and accuracy. Oversight by trusted officials minimized the risk of leaks, errors, or misinterpretation, preserving both the integrity of the test and the privacy of the child. It also allowed the royal family to maintain control over the narrative, ensuring that any disclosure, if it were ever to occur, would be managed strategically. The layers of supervision, documentation, and legal oversight highlight the seriousness of this undertaking and the care taken to prevent unintended consequences. Experts in genetics emphasize that a DNA test of this nature is virtually foolproof. Parentage can be determined with near-perfect accuracy, leaving little room for dispute. In the context of Archie Harrison, this means that the test, if revealed, would provide definitive evidence of biological connection. Yet the decision to seal the results adds a layer of complexity. The public is aware that the test exists, but the outcome remains unknown. This creates a paradox. The confirmation lends credibility to years of speculation, yet the secrecy preserves uncertainty, fueling further debate and fascination. From a legal perspective, the sealed nature of the test is also crucial. Access to such results is tightly regulated, and any unauthorized disclosure could have serious consequences, including legal action and damage to the reputation of those involved. The royal household has long relied on confidentiality to protect its members, and this case is no exception. By maintaining control over the results, the palace ensures that sensitive information is not exploited for sensational headlines or public drama. This is a clear demonstration of how privacy, power, and control intersect in the highest echelons of the monarchy. The timing of the test itself is also noteworthy. Sources suggest that it was conducted at a moment when questions about lineage and parentage were particularly pressing. Whether prompted by internal considerations, external rumors, or a desire to establish certainty within the family, the decision to initiate a DNA test reflects both prudence and foresight. It is a recognition that, in matters of succession and identity, clarity is sometimes essential, even if that clarity is not immediately shared with the public. Beyond the technical and legal dimensions, the test carries profound emotional significance. For the woman rumored to be the biological mother, acknowledging its existence is a powerful statement. It validates her role, confirms the seriousness of her connection, and demonstrates the lengths to which the royal family has gone to manage the matter. For Archie himself, the knowledge that a test exists, though sealed, underscores the complexity of his early life and the layers of protection and secrecy that have shaped his experiences. The emotional stakes are high, as the test represents not just biological verification, but the intersection of identity, family, and public perception. Media experts and royal commentators have highlighted the unprecedented nature of this revelation. While the royal family has always maintained confidentiality around private matters, the acknowledgement of a DNA test, without revealing the results, is a remarkable development. It confirms that the family is aware of public speculation and is actively managing sensitive information in a controlled manner. At the same time, it fuels curiosity, debate, and speculation in ways that no official statement ever could. The balance between disclosure and secrecy, authority and mystery, creates a narrative that is compelling, complex, and deeply engaging. The existence of the test also raises broader questions about transparency, ethics, and the responsibilities of the monarchy. Should the results ever be revealed? Finally, the confidential DNA test sets the stage for a deeper exploration of secrecy and protocol within the royal family. It exemplifies how scientific certainty, legal authority, and institutional control converge to shape decisions that affect not only individuals but the perception of an entire monarchy. The test is more than a piece of evidence. It is a symbol of control, discretion, and the complex interplay between private life and public fascination. As the story unfolds, understanding the test, its conduct, its secrecy, and its implications is essential to grasping the broader narrative surrounding Archie Harrison, his rumored biological mother, and the monarchy itself. The British royal family has, for centuries, operated within a framework of tradition, ceremony, and strict protocol. Every public appearance, statement, and even gesture is governed by rules designed to preserve the monarchy's dignity and maintain public trust. But beyond the visible ceremonies lies a far more complex system of secrecy and control, a network of procedures, archives, and internal governance that ensures private matters remain private. The existence of a confidential DNA test for Archie Harrison is not just a scientific procedure. It is a reflection of this centuries-old culture of discretion, designed to protect the family and its legacy. At its core, royal protocol is about preservation. The monarchy, unlike most modern institutions, functions as both a family and a national symbol. Decisions made within the family have implications that ripple across the country and, indeed, the world. This dual role creates a unique tension. How do you balance the personal, human aspects of family life with the responsibilities of representing an institution that is under constant scrutiny? Secrecy is one tool the family uses to manage this tension. Private matters, whether they involve health, finances, or, in this case, parentage, are tightly controlled to prevent misunderstanding, misreporting, or public controversy. Within the palace, confidentiality is reinforced by strict rules. Staff members, advisors, and legal counsel operate under clear directives that govern the handling of sensitive information. Unauthorized disclosure is considered a serious breach of duty, sometimes resulting in termination, legal action, or lifelong restrictions on access to royal events. The palace is essentially a fortress of information. Some details are public, carefully curated for press releases or official photographs, while others are locked away in archives that only a select few may access. The DNA test conducted for Archie Harrison fits squarely within this tradition of protected information. These protocols are not arbitrary. They have evolved in response to historical events where leaks, scandals, or mismanaged communications caused public embarrassment or institutional disruption. From the controversial memoirs of royal insiders to tabloid revelations, the family has learned that managing sensitive information is essential to maintaining credibility and authority. The decision to seal Archie's DNA test results is a modern application of this principle, balancing scientific certainty with institutional protection. By restricting access, the palace ensures that the information cannot be exploited, misinterpreted, or sensationalized in ways that could damage the family or the child. Another key aspect of royal secrecy is the use of formal archives. These are not ordinary storage rooms. They are meticulously organized, heavily monitored, and secured through multiple layers of protection. Documents, records, and sensitive materials are cataloged, access is logged, and physical and digital security measures are implemented to prevent unauthorized intrusion. The confidential DNA test for Archie was reportedly stored in such an archive, a space reserved for information deemed critical to the integrity of the family or the institution. The very existence of this archive demonstrates the importance placed on controlling knowledge, ensuring that sensitive details are accessible only to those with a legitimate need to know. Royal protocols extend beyond physical security to include legal and ethical considerations. Legal counsel is involved in the management of private information to ensure compliance with national laws, privacy regulations, and ethical obligations. For a child like Archie Harrison, this means that any information related to his biological parentage is treated with extreme care. The decision to conduct a DNA test, supervise it within the family, and seal its results reflects not just a desire for privacy, but also a careful assessment of legal risk and ethical responsibility. This is a family that understands the potential consequences of disclosure and has structured its actions to prevent misuse of sensitive information. Historical precedent also plays a role in shaping these protocols. Past royal controversies have shown the consequences of leaked information. Scandals, disputes over lineage, and public debates about succession have occasionally destabilized both family relations and public perception. These historical lessons have informed the current approach, where transparency is balanced against discretion. Even when the public might benefit from full disclosure, the family prioritizes protection of its members, particularly minors, and the preservation of institutional stability. The DNA test for Archie is a contemporary manifestation of these centuries-old practices. The social implications of secrecy are equally significant. By controlling access to information, the royal family shapes public perception. Carefully curated statements, photographs, and releases guide the narrative, allowing the public to see a controlled version of reality. When secrets are kept, speculation inevitably follows, but the palace accepts this as part of the cost of privacy. In the case of Archie, the sealed DNA test ensures that, while curiosity may continue to grow, the child himself is shielded from potential public or media scrutiny regarding his biological identity. This protection is essential for maintaining his well-being and allowing him to grow without the constant intrusion of speculation. Secrecy is not absolute. It is strategic. The family decides what, when, and how information is released. By acknowledging the existence of the DNA test but keeping the results sealed, the palace has managed to strike a delicate balance. They validate years of rumor and curiosity, satisfy the need for acknowledgement, and maintain control over potentially disruptive information. This approach reflects a broader philosophy. The public can know enough to remain engaged, but not enough to destabilize the institution or harm individuals. Royal protocols also dictate communication. Every public statement, including those related to Archie Harrison, is reviewed meticulously. Language is chosen for precision, ambiguity is minimized where necessary, and sensitive details are carefully framed. The woman rumored to be Archie's biological mother operates within these constraints, ensuring her disclosure is consistent with both legal and familial obligations. Her careful wording respects the protocols of the royal household, reinforcing the seriousness of the revelation and highlighting the high stakes involved. The decision to maintain secrecy over the DNA test is further informed by psychological considerations. Children growing up in the public eye face unique pressures, including media attention, public judgment, and the challenge of developing identity amidst scrutiny. By sealing the results, the royal family prioritizes Archie's emotional and psychological well-being, recognizing that full public disclosure could expose him to harm, speculation, or identity challenges at a young age. In essence, secrecy serves not just institutional interests but deeply personal ones as well. Finally, the existence of protocols and the culture of secrecy explain why the confirmation of the DNA test is such a significant development. The public has long speculated, and the acknowledgement that a formal, supervised test exists adds credibility to years of discussion. At the same time, The decision to seal the results preserves mystery, protects the child, and reinforces the family's ability to manage information. It is a powerful demonstration of the interplay between tradition, authority, and discretion within one of the world's most scrutinized families. Understanding these protocols is crucial for appreciating the broader context of the story. The DNA test for Archie Harrison did not occur in isolation. It occurred within a system designed to maintain secrecy, protect privacy, and control narrative. Every step, from supervision to archival storage, reflects centuries of experience in managing sensitive matters. The palace's approach to secrecy is not arbitrary. It is a deliberate, sophisticated strategy that balances public interest with institutional and personal protection. To fully grasp the weight of the revelations surrounding Archie Harrison, it is essential to consider the perspectives of those who have operated within the palace, the corridors of power, and the media ecosystem surrounding the royal family. Insiders, former staff, advisors, and even journalists with long-standing access offer a glimpse into the mechanisms that keep secrets secure, the pressures that surround the family, and the emotional realities of life behind the public facade. Their accounts provide depth, context, and a sense of authenticity that complements the official statements and public speculation. One former palace aide described the environment as intensely controlled. Every action, interaction, and decision involving the royal children is meticulously planned, not only to ensure their safety but also to preserve the family's image. According to insiders, the management of information regarding children, particularly in matters as sensitive as biological lineage, involves layers of oversight, legal counsel, and strict adherence to protocol. These measures are not simply bureaucratic. They reflect the stakes involved in protecting both the institution and the individuals at its core. In this context, the existence of a confidential DNA test for Archie Harrison aligns with long-standing practices of discretion and control. Royal staff also highlight the emotional toll of secrecy. Maintaining strict confidentiality requires constant vigilance, from monitoring communications to controlling public appearances. Insiders note that this vigilance extends to everyone within the household, including personal aides, security personnel, and administrative staff. Any slip, however minor, can have significant consequences. The decision to keep the DNA test results sealed was likely informed by an awareness of this pressure and the potential for unintended disclosure. Staff members are acutely aware of the global attention that any leak would provoke and the lasting impact it could have on the child and the family. Journalists who have reported on the royal family for years provide additional insights. They note that speculation surrounding Archie Harrison has always been intensified by the family's careful management of information. The absence of publicly available details creates space for conjecture, which in turn drives media narratives and social media discussion. By confirming the existence of a DNA test without revealing its results, insiders suggest the palace has skillfully managed the balance between transparency and privacy, offering a nod to public curiosity while maintaining strict control over sensitive information. Some insiders emphasize that the confirmation of the DNA test represents a turning point. While rumors and speculation had circulated for years, the acknowledgement from someone connected to the child validates concerns, suspicions, and theories that were previously unconfirmed. It is one thing to speculate based on partial information. It is another to receive confirmation from a source with credibility and direct knowledge of events. This shift from conjecture to partial confirmation heightens both public fascination and the pressure on the palace to manage the narrative responsibly. Experts on royal protocol and family dynamics also weigh in, noting the delicate balance involved in disclosing information. According to them, insiders often serve as intermediaries between the family and the public, managing communications, shaping narratives, and ensuring that sensitive details are released, or withheld, in a controlled manner. The existence of a confidential DNA test would have been known to only a handful of trusted individuals. Their role is to preserve secrecy, enforce protocol, and mitigate risk, ensuring that the family's interests and the child's welfare remain paramount. Former security personnel provide another layer of context. They emphasize that the protection of children within the royal household involves not just physical safety but also the safeguarding of information. Sensitive details, from personal interactions to genetic data, are treated as critical assets. Unauthorized disclosure can create security risks, legal complications, and reputational damage. The sealed DNA test represents an extreme measure of protection. It is not only a statement about biological lineage but also a controlled mechanism for safeguarding the child and the family. Insiders also shed light on the pressures that parents face when dealing with speculation. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have navigated intense public scrutiny since before Archie's birth. According to sources, their decisions regarding privacy, relocation, and controlled public appearances were informed by years of experience managing rumors, media attention, and public expectations. The existence of a confidential DNA test is consistent with these broader patterns of protective behavior. It demonstrates a proactive approach to managing potential controversies before they can escalate. Several insiders point to historical parallels within the monarchy. Previous generations have also faced questions of lineage, legitimacy, and secrecy. In many cases, these matters were handled quietly, with only a small circle of advisors aware of the truth. The approach taken with Archie Harrison reflects this long-standing tradition. Sensitive information is confirmed internally, managed carefully, and released only when necessary. These historical practices underscore the continuity of strategy within the royal household, even as modern technology and global media amplify scrutiny. Psychologists who consult with royal households highlight the emotional impact of rumors and secrecy on children. Growing up under public scrutiny can create stress, identity confusion, and a heightened sense of vigilance. Insiders suggest that one motivation for sealing the DNA test results was to shield Archie from these pressures. By maintaining control over the information, the family ensures that the child's identity is protected until he reaches an age where he can navigate these complexities himself. The protection of psychological well-being is as critical as the protection of privacy or reputation. Finally, insiders emphasize the human element in these narratives. Beyond protocol, archives, and legal considerations, there are relationships, loyalties, and ethical responsibilities that guide decision-making. Those close to the family often describe a deep sense of duty, balancing personal empathy with professional obligation. The woman rumored to be Archie's biological mother, by speaking carefully yet decisively, demonstrates an understanding of these pressures. Her acknowledgement of the test, framed within the bounds of discretion, reflects the delicate navigation of ethics, loyalty, and responsibility that defines life within and around the palace. By considering these insider perspectives, we gain a clearer understanding of why the revelation of a confidential DNA test carries such weight. It is not merely a piece of scientific information. It is embedded within a complex web of human behavior, institutional protocol, and emotional consideration. These insights help explain why secrecy has been maintained, why disclosure has been carefully managed, and why the acknowledgement of the test represents a pivotal moment in the ongoing story of Archie Harrison. The moment news of the alleged biological mother's revelation broke, the world reacted with a mixture of shock, fascination, and relentless curiosity. Social media platforms erupted, news outlets scrambled to cover the story, and royal watchers around the globe dissected every nuance of her statement. The confirmation of a DNA test, even one whose results remain sealed, sent ripples across every corner of public discourse, highlighting the intensity of interest in Archie Harrison and his place within the royal family. What was once confined to whispers and speculation now commanded international attention. On Twitter, hashtags related to Archie Harrison, the alleged mother, and the sealed DNA test began trending within hours. Users debated the implications, speculated about the motives behind the revelation, and shared their own theories about what the results might reveal. Some expressed outrage that such a sensitive issue could even exist, questioning why the public had been kept in the dark for so long. Others marveled at the discretion exercised by the palace, acknowledging the careful balance between transparency and privacy. Memes, reaction videos, and opinion threads proliferated, turning the story into a global viral phenomenon almost overnight. News outlets across the world approached the story from multiple angles. Traditional tabloids highlighted the intrigue and scandal, emphasizing the mystery surrounding the sealed results and the possible consequences for royal protocol. Broadcast networks provided panels of experts, including royal historians, legal analysts, and child psychologists, who interpreted the revelation and discussed potential outcomes. Online publications offered detailed timelines, background research, and commentary, ensuring that anyone curious could access a wealth of information about the situation. The coverage was both comprehensive and relentless, reflecting the high stakes and deep public interest. Experts weighed in almost immediately. Royal commentators noted that the confirmation of a DNA test is highly unusual, emphasizing that the palace rarely acknowledges internal procedures, particularly those involving children. Psychologists highlighted the potential emotional impact of such revelations on the child and the family, noting that even controlled disclosures could provoke stress and anxiety in a high-pressure environment. Legal analysts discussed the implications of sealed results, speculating on potential scenarios for disclosure and the rules governing access to such sensitive information. These expert perspectives helped frame the discussion in a way that was both informative and dramatic, capturing the public's attention while contextualizing the story. Public opinion, however, was divided. For some, the revelation confirmed long-held suspicions that had been circulating for years. They interpreted the confirmation of a DNA test as proof that there were hidden truths regarding Archie's biological parentage, and they speculated about the reasons for secrecy. For others, the news was unsettling, raising questions about transparency, ethics, and the responsibilities of the royal family to the public. Many expressed concern for Archie himself, emphasizing that while the story is compelling, the focus should remain on protecting the child's well-being. This spectrum of reactions underscores the emotional and psychological complexity.